JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, we start a new week on the flagship of the Silver and Black, Raider Nation Radio, streaming live on YouTube, where I'm wearing this Flecha Azul tequila shirt from our proud partner. Thank you. It is a Monday, which means it's a Mendoza Monday, brought to you by the DeCastro Verde Law Group. This is their day. They say, I want that day. You got it. The DeCastro Verde Law Group. Brothers Win. BrothersWin.com. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I don't like to waste a lot of time talking about things other than sports. But I hope you had a great 4th of July. I had a great one. Though, probably the best fireworks this country has ever seen. No debate. No debate. The greatest fireworks this country has ever seen, and it will never happen again. Now, what do you mean? What do you mean it'll never happen again? It will never happen again until we turn 300. You see, we like anniversaries. You like your first year wedding anniversary. Then you like 25. Then you have 50. Birthday, what's your big birthday celebration? Most people, it's either 21, then 50. 60's cool. I had one. You know, other people like their 40th. No one cares about your 40th or your 35th. They care about your 21st and your 50th. That's about it. So when it comes to our country celebrating, we're going to celebrate 50 years from now, and they'll blow up more fireworks than they blew up on the 4th of July. But that was great. D.C. had the most ever. New York had the most ever. Vegas had the most ever. I was right atop, right behind downtown Summerlin on the mean streets of Summerlin. Red Rock did an amazing fireworks show. Really good. So happy I was able to see that. And then a lot of barbecuing, a lot of swimming, a lot of tunes, a lot of sports, and a lot of World Cup. And that's the focus of the monologue tonight. We have a World Cup soccer game played in Seattle. And there's a lot of meat on the bone today for everybody to get into this. And I want everybody to get into this today, because by tomorrow, this could be over. And when this ends, it's going to fall off a United States cliff the size of Mount Rushmore. Because there are so many frauds now covering soccer who are fraudulent and didn't mention it until this red card that showed up. And now the red card has been suspended. And now everybody got the warning today, I guess, from their program director. They got the email Sunday night. You better learn about soccer, because we're going to be doing it on our sports talk station tomorrow in Raleigh and New Orleans and Detroit. And you better get your ass together, and you better figure out how this works. See, that's what the world is like now. We buy into things for a short period of time because in America, we have destroyed our and our children's attention span. We have destroyed it. We have no more attention span. We can't even go to the movies. People can't even park their car, Ari, and go to a movie, buy popcorn, wait in line, buy a Coke, and watch a 2-hour and 10-minute movie. We do not have the attention to do it. We have our phones out. We're live tweeting. We're looking at pictures. We can't focus anymore. And that's what the World Cup has been. The World Cup has been an algorithm. And it was made up by Fox, and they deserve the credit. And they took the global algorithm that works around the world, which never worked in the United States. They copied the global algorithm, and then they threw it into America, and now they're guilting us. Yeah, that's what's happening now. You are being guilted by me or somebody else if you're not watching this stuff. If you're not watching the World Cup, you no longer have an excuse. You did have an excuse if you were that ignorant idiot in the bar going, I don't watch soccer. Soccer sucks. It's too slow. They have this. No, you're wrong. You were wrong. No one talked to you in the bar. You sat in the corner by yourself. You were wrong. Then you kind of looked around and you said, man, this soccer is pretty cool. There's a lot of hot chicks at the bar. They're wearing American gear. I'm an American. I'm going to watch it. Oh, I love Mexico. I'm Mexican-American. I love Mexico. How'd that work out? Told you today we're going to lose to England. That was a lock. Everyone's like, Azteca is the greatest stadium in the world. When you play nobody, Azteca Stadium is known for Pele and Maradona winning World Cups. Azteca Stadium is great for hosting World Cups. Their teams don't play anybody. If you beat Colombia and Latin countries, and you're not playing against Germany, and you're not playing against England, and you're not playing against all these great countries religiously year-round, you're going to have a 92-2 record. You don't play anybody great. It'd be like us in America. We don't play anybody good because there's no one good in America. But I love Mexico. I go there often. I think Mexico's a good team. They're like the United States. They're average. Oh, but Azteca is this global mecca to soccer. Okay. You know what the mecca of basketball is? Everybody know the mecca? It's Madison Square Garden. The Knicks didn't win there for 53 years, and they called it the mecca. So the fact that Harry Kane and England went in and beat Mexico handily, you would have known that if you've been watching the show, because Mexico is not elite at soccer. They're elite in their leagues of Mexico at soccer, not globally. So Mexico is going nowhere. And the United States is probably not going to go anywhere either unless they win this game. I think it'll be it. And if they win, I'm going to keep rooting for them. But, we're not very good. We're okay now. And we got some momentum because the red card was lifted. So let's dive into that. Balogun is going to play. Flo Balogun is going to be able to play because the president of our country called FIFA and pressured him. I don't have a problem with that because I don't talk politics and I don't get triggered by politics. I don't wake up in the morning one day in my life and ever cared one day of my life who my president was, my senator was, or congressman was. They don't come to my house and pick me up. They don't do my 3 jobs. I don't care. No, I'll get a little political over a couple of Modelo's, talking with some family and friends, but not with you. But when politics enters sports, I have to talk about it. Remember when baseball players went to Congress and in front of Congress had to lie or not comment about taking steroids? That was a good example of politics now getting in the way of sports, and I had to talk about it. But normally I avoid politics because you don't tune in to listen to me or sports radio to be lectured about politics, and I'm very aware of that. But this is a political story. The president of the United States, who has a lot to do and a lot of exposure with FIFA, and is hosting, our country's hosting the majority of these events, well, wait a second. That didn't deserve a red card, which he was right. I don't think that deserved the red card, but the topic becomes, once you make that brutal decision about the red card, it's a bad call. It's a bad call. You don't change it. You got to live with that. So we're going to play without Balogun. We're going to be without him. He's not going to play for us, and we're going to have to win without him. I'm good with that. I think we could beat Belgium without Balogun coming in. I do. I think we can win. But now we're going to get him back. And if we win, the world's going to hate us because they're going to know that we politically changed the red card, which they will be accurate enough saying that. That is accurate. That's not fake news. That's not leaning to the right or the left. It's very accurate. This comes from the White House as you hear this. And basically everybody was joking about it as the red card was suspended. Listen to this.
All I did, I asked for a review because I didn't think it was a foul. And, again, I'm good at this stuff. I didn't think it was a foul. I thought it was 2 great athletes that crashed into each other and got entangled. That was not a guy punching somebody in the face or anything that, would be different. And I think it's a terrible, if they wouldn't allow, a top player, maybe the best, maybe among the best players on the team to play, I think it would have had a big stain. And I related just that feel. I didn't tell him what to do. I can't tell him what to do. But and I don't believe he made the decision. I think it was a committee that made the decision. And they made the right decision because, number one, it wasn't a foul. And you want to see a game with your best players. You don't want to say, how would you feel if I took, we take Messi out? Look, he ran into somebody. Or we took Ronaldo. You bunked into somebody, we're going to take you out of a game. He's great.
You actually think if he doesn't make that call, they'll overturn it or not? Are you out of your mind? That phone call that he admitted to overturned the red card. Without a doubt, 1,000%. And you got to be politically pretty triggered if you don't agree with that. I don't care if you voted for him or not. So he changed the face of this game in a little way. It might not matter at all. We might lose 4-2. We might win 3-0 and he doesn't score a goal. I don't know. They're going to play the game anyway. But I didn't think it was a red card. I'm all for a yellow card here and there, especially that. But a red card that's going to eject a player, I didn't expect to see a red card. England played man down at Azteca Stadium. England had to win man down with Mexico. Why did Mexico not come back and beat England man down? They don't have enough good players. The Mexican fans like their Mexico heroes. They're not elite players. They're not Harry Kane. They're not Messi. They're not Ronaldo. They're not Mbappe and 5 other guys. So Mexico's not good enough to come back with a man advantage to beat England. Would we be good enough to come back without Balogun to come back and win? I don't know. We're never going to know. He's going to play. So it's a big topic today. I'd like to get your opinion on that because I'm doing a sports talk show in the summer, and this is the biggest story in the world. Imagine me not opening up the show with the biggest story in the world. We're going to do that when you hear me on the radio. I don't know what the other shows do. I'm talking the biggest stories, and I know you're going to watch this game tonight. So the United States, Belgium, 5 o'clock. Gives you plenty of time to get off work, get home, have a beverage, cool off, get in the pool, go to a sports bar, go to a lounge, go to a tavern, go to a casino watch party. Tonight's the night. Monday, treat it like a 3-day weekend. Your boss would be proud of you. Get out of the house and go watch these games. Make memories. Go to the memories. Those memories are not going to happen in your living room by yourself. Get out of the house and go watch the soccer game tonight. You'll thank me for it. I'll be working in my house, in my home studio, wondering what's going to happen here. I predicted England would beat Mexico 2-1. It was 3-2. I think the United States will beat Belgium 3-2. I think there could be some goals scored here. I hope there is. I hope we get some action. If it goes to penalties, Belgium's got more experience. They're a more experienced team, but the United States is playing really well at the right time. Go USA. Go USA. I'd like to hear from educated soccer fans who are Raider fans, right? You're a Raider fan. You love Mexico. If Mexico won, I would have got harassed all day today. Why'd you root against Mexico? I didn't really root against you. I happen to root for England. So if England was playing Belgium, I would have rooted for England. They happen to be playing you, Mexico. So I rooted for England, and they won. If you're a Mexican soccer fan, you should be calling me on the tournament and how great it is because you know probably a lot more soccer than I do. But at least, unlike the frauds in radio and television on cable who don't know anything about it and started talking about it today, I've been talking about it for a long time. So I'm comfortable with these topics, even with educated soccer fans who want to get in. 702-365-9200. The show that led into me was talking about soup. So it might take a second to get the phones going. They were talking about soup. So maybe it takes 10 minutes to realize I'm live and I'm not doing a show on soup. So if you'd like to get through, 702-365-9200. I found something pretty cool today from ESPN that I sent to my son, and I hope he puts it up on our YouTube stream here momentarily. On ESPN, they came out with the projected rosters of every team in the NFL. I said, ooh, that's got my attention. I work for the Raiders. I have my notebook with my projected roster of the Raiders. I think I know what the Raiders are going to do. So ESPN put out which NFL teams have the best and worst rosters. And this was put out by Mike Clay, Aaron Schultz, and Seth Walder. And it went through every team. And I said, oh boy, Ari, you know why? I said, they're going to smash the Raiders, man. Oh, they're going to smash the Raiders because this is what they do to Raider Nation this time of year. They just smash us, beat us down. So even my finest critics, even the finest trolls give me credit for at least standing up for the Raiders. So I took my, what do they call it, a fine-tooth comb, and I went through the roster of these gentlemen as they dissected the Raiders roster. There it is. Great job by my son. We're upgrading the YouTube. The YouTube's rocking. We're able to go live and soon to be putting guests live on YouTube, and we put up this roster, which you can see here. So the first roster came in. The number one roster in the NFL was the Rams. And they were exactly right, and holy crap, are the Rams loaded. Oh, boy. You go through every player on the Rams, and you know their name. number one. Number two with the Eagles. Eagles with Howie Roseman. Pretty good roster. Number three, the world champs, Seattle. They lost a couple of players and some coaches. It was now our head coach. Then I went to four, and it was Buffalo. And I said, this is perfect. This is an unbelievable article. They got everything I agree with. Buffalo, I picked to win the Super Bowl 2 of the last 4 years because of their roster. And it's still real good. And then at number 5, they came in with the Ravens. Remember the Ravens, the team that wanted Max Crosby and lost Tyler Linderbaum and Likely? I was like, ooh, let me dive into that one. And then rounding out the top 10 at 6 was Detroit. At number 7 was New England. Oh, no. What do you mean? New England had 4 wins. We beat them to open up last year. How's New England have the 7th best roster? Denver came in 8th. Oh, boy, they're in our division. At number 9, Houston, which I think is fair. And then Green Bay was at 10. So then there's something called scroll down, where I started scrolling down to find the Raiders. So I thought Raiders maybe would come in because they got 7 new starters in free agency. 7. And I'm like, well, maybe the Raiders will come in about 23 or 24 of the best rosters in the league. Minnesota at 22. 23, the New York Giants. New York Giants stink. They got like nobody. I said, the Raiders got to be next. Let's go to 24. The Panthers. I said, the Panthers are at 24. All right, the Raiders got to be 25. Ready for this? The 25 best roster in the league, the Jets. They had the Jets at 25, and I jumped out the window, and I landed in my pool. I said, this is crazy. Well, now I'm getting nervous. They don't have the Raiders in the top 25. Then I go to 26. It's New Orleans. Okay, we play New Orleans, week 3. And there we are like a shining city on the hill. At number 27 out of 32, the Las Vegas Raiders with the 27th best roster in the sport. And then working from the bottom backwards, which is a really big topic for me because we play these teams. At 32, the worst roster in the NFL, the Dolphins at 32. At 31, the Cleveland Browns, a team we're familiar with. Tied for 29th, the Falcons and the Cardinals, right? Cardinals, familiar with them? And then at 28, the Titans, who we've played. And then we come in at 27. So I looked at the roster, and it's up on my YouTube channel. You can look at it. And here's what they have as the projected starters for the Raiders. Let's begin on offense. Kirk Cousins, which means no mention of Mendoza. None. Doesn't say Cousins and then Mendoza. Just says Cousins. Running back, Ashton Genty. Wide receiver, Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, Jack Besh. Okay, you following me? This seems fair. Tight ends, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. They give him 2. Left tackle, Colton Miller. Left guard, Jordan Meredith. Center, Tyler Linderbaum. Right guard, Jackson Powers Johnson. And a right tackle, DJ Glaze. So I said, oh, that's okay. You know, the 3 receivers are Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, and Jack Besh. That's not scaring anybody, but I think they're all pretty good. But they're not elite players. Then we go to the defensive side of the ball. Okay, so the way they put this roster together, they had 3 defensive tackles. Adam Butler, Jonah Laulu, Thomas Booker. Those are the 3. Max Crosby and Kwity Paye at the edge. At linebackers, they only had 2 with the front that they put in here. Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. At cornerback, Eric Stokes, Darian Porter as a starter, and Teron Johnson, who came over from Buffalo. Then at safety, Jeremy Chin and Traden Stukes. I like that. Stukes should start. He's better than Isaiah Palomali. Better be. You drafted him really high, so I think that's good. They go to pull their article and say the biggest strength is tight end. They talked about Brock Bowers and what Cousins or Mendoza can do. I agree with that 100%. Biggest weakness, interior defensive line. The good news is the Raiders have some continuity up front returning all three interior linemen who played at least 50% of the defensive snaps last season. The bad news is none of the three were especially good last season. Okay, that comes from ESPN. They said the X factor is the right side of the offensive line. This season needs to be about the development of Mendoza and figuring out who can contribute to a contender in the future. The right side could be a weakness in pass protection if Jackson Powers-Johnson and DJ Glaze are starting. Powers-Johnson has a 90.9 pass block win rate at guard, which is below average, and Glaze 85.5 win rate is just in the 6th percentile. So that's what they wrote about there. They said the non-starter to know. This was a good nugget because I heard a lot about this. Caleb Rogers. They're really high on Caleb Rogers. And the fact that he didn't have really good coaching. He'll compete with Jordan Meredith and Spencer Burford for the starting left guard spot. So that was it. So as I put up on my YouTube channel at JT the Brick YT, I looked at this roster and I said to myself, it's pretty accurate, Ari. I mean, they're naming everybody that we know. I mean, they're accurate. Ashton Genty's the running back. Brock Bowers, Tyler Linderbaum. Cousins is going to start. You know, they're looking at everybody. I'm not arguing with that. But there's some holes in this roster that need to be fixed. And the takeaway needs to be the wide receivers. You're talking about it on your show and all the shows. Yep. There is consideration now to add a wide receiver here.
Yeah, I will say I'm kind of excited that they didn't say the biggest weakness is the wide receiver room. But yeah, and I'm also excited that they got Naylor because I've seen a lot of these, previous lists that people make, and they don't even include the whole roster, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, but I'm also willing to, like a lot of people, I think at this point, and it's so late, I'm willing to go in with those three wide receivers that potentially could be a good combination. I'm not getting too high on it. I get it.
Yeah, it's all about Bowers being a wide receiver hybrid. That's all this is about. Can Bowers play? Can Bowers put up the receptions that would make him considered a wide receiver? If Bowers can do that, remember, he had a season of 112 catches for almost 1,200 yards. If Bowers can get 100 receptions, we don't have to have the best wide receiver room because we have a hybrid wide receiver in Bowers. So if you're all in on Bowers, you better be all in on him because his ceiling, I don't know what his ceiling is. I don't think he's going to get 130 receptions, but his floor has got to be 100. He's got to be over 100 receptions in this offense with Clint Kubiak. And I could be wrong because in this offense with Clint Kubiak, there could be a lot more passes going to Ashton Genty and Michael Mayer than you think. And there could be a lot of slant routes where the ball comes out in 2 seconds to some of these slant wide receivers, and Bowers doesn't have the numbers that you think. I don't know. We're going to see this as it plays out. So I wanted to give the Raider fans some red meat, even though I'd rather talk World Cup. And then NBA free agency I'll get into here in a little bit, but I'd like your opinion on that. So it was a good 4th of July. I hope you had a great 4th of July. Tell me about it. If you did anything sports related, if you watched the World Cup, if you went to a particular place, had a great view for the fireworks, we'd like to hear from you. It would be easy. I want to repeat this. Really easy, because I have it, to take the next 2 weeks vacation and just go. It'd be easy. The Raiders want me to do it, considering how hard I work during the year. It'd be easy to do this and press a button and be off the radio for 2 weeks. I'm here because I want to go balls out and talk World Cup, and I want to talk NBA free agency and everything else. If I go balls out and you're not here for me, it's a podcast. So let's wake people up. It's Monday. Again, we're not talking about soups. I'm not ranking soups. I'm talking sports, and we got enough sports going on. Do you believe that the red card being rescinded will hurt our reputation around the world as a soccer country eventually? Where politics 1,000% was the reason we rescinded the card. Are you good with it? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if it was Joe Biden, Barack Obama, George Bush, Donald Trump. If they called FIFA and said, hey, do me a favor, look at that again. And they were dumb enough at FIFA to go, oh, boy, we might listen to the current president. Let's suspend the card. I don't care. I don't think there should have been a red card so I could live with this. But if you look at all the soccer heads on the internet, even some Americans that root against the United States. We have people in this country that are rooting against us. I'll give you an example. If Mexico played the United States, it'd be not 10-1, it would be 100-1 of Mexican-American fans over United States fans, not even close. But Mexico has been eliminated, and they played hard, and they got great fans. And those fans were in the rain, and they were there. And those England fans who showed up to that game, they had balls. They were singing Wonderwall in front of the Mexico fans and how to get out of there and get on the bus and get the hell out of Mexico City. All of those English fans deserve a medal. They should be brought to Parliament and given a medal for going into that environment and winning. That's 25 minutes of me. How about a few minutes of you? You got an opinion? What do you think of World Cup? Are you watching the game? Are there any soccer fans here in Vegas? Oh, Ari, they want to put a soccer team in Vegas, and I can't get a soccer call, then I will rip that soccer team out of Vegas personally. I'll rip it out because you know me, at least I get a few hockey calls. If we can't hear from soccer fans here in Vegas during the World Cup, you're useless to me. Don't invite me to your little MLS stadium. Don't send me a jersey here if I can't hear from a soccer fan in Vegas. You're useless to me during the World Cup. Useless to me if I can't hear from a soccer fan in Vegas during the World Cup. I'm ready to go. My wife kicked me out of the house at 10 a.m. She goes, "You're pacing. Get out. Just go. Go. You walked the dog already. You took a swim. You did this. Get out of the house. You want to be on the radio this bad." I do. I love being on the radio, especially during sports. And we got a lot of sports to talk about. But we want to hear some soccer fans who can handle sports talk in July of 2026. It's not hard. You're out there. You just need a landline or a cell phone. 702-365-9200. Again, brought to you by Fletcher Azul. Look at this T-shirt. They're proud partners of the show. My wife, and I'll tell you later, made a picture of margaritas and brought it out to the pool, and she got a standing ovation. People in my pool were like, "Who made this margarita? What's it made with?" I said, Fletcher Azul, our proud new partner. They're unbelievable. Let's roll on a Monday, USA.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by The Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
England have it again with Anthony Gordon. Big 5 or 10 minutes on the cards here for Mexico. It's played on to Harry Kane, who crosses and Bellingham's there again. And England lead 2-0. And in the blink of an eye, the game's getting away from Mexico.
In a blink of an eye, the game got away from Mexico, and England beat them. JT, back with you. Hope everyone's having a good 4th of July celebration. I think it's still going on. You only turned 250 once, and that was a party. What was cool about the fireworks that I saw in downtown Summerlin, my buddy's got a pad, a really nice pad that's right on top of it. So we were like even with it, like right in front of us. And we watched those fireworks. But because of the weather delay and the lightning delay in D.C., those were delayed. So both started at the same time. So we had this TV, big screen TV going on with the fireworks in D.C., which was the biggest ever. Never be topped. Never. And then we're looking out the window and we're watching our fireworks here in downtown Summerlin. And we could see off into the distance of the Vegas fireworks. But if anybody saw from their balcony on the Strip, or you're on the Strip watching those fireworks, I'm sure that looks spectacular too. So Vegas always throws a pretty good party. I think everybody had a great party overall. The World Cup is front and center. Ari, when it's all said and done for me, and I hope it's a long time from now, I hope they say JT never did bracket shows on food in the summer. I'm the last guy who has still not done a bracket challenge on chicken wings, cheeseburgers, coffee, soup. I'm still already the last guy who has not put my toe in the water and said, we have nothing to talk about today, so let's break down chicken sandwiches.
Oh, you don't want to be like everyone else in the summertime?
It's summertime, man. Some people do it differently. I'm hardcore. I still got to talk sports. There's
plenty to talk about.
I think the United States wins today. I think it'll be dramatic. I hope the crowd matters in Seattle. I tell this story all the time. For years, over a decade, we would do a Raiders pregame in Seattle. It was on the calendar every year. And I was the sideline reporter on the sideline. And in the fourth quarter of the game, in a preseason game, They would go down to me for a sideline hit with a player, and I couldn't hear the player. It was so loud. That's in the preseason for the Seahawks, a preseason game in the fourth quarter of a preseason game. It's loud, and it could get really loud. And Belgium fans are going to be there because they travel well, but that's not an easy trip. So I'm hoping that all the Seattle soccer heads, and there's a lot of them, step up and make that a real home field advantage. It won't be like Azteca in Mexico, but it could be cool. It could be close, and it could have that energy that gets everybody excited. It's going to look great on television. I got my buddy Todd up there now. He's at Slugger's, a bar that's there. Says it's going off with the pregame up there already. Our buddy Big D in Walnut Creek's going to start us off. Big D, you're my first ever local call after this country turned 250. So that is a badge of honor. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm totally honored by that, JT. And I'm hanging in there. Just another day, so moving along, dealing with everything. But I, for one, did not think England would pull that off. But man, give them a lot of credit. I mean, between the fans, the rain, the humidity, the altitude, down a man, they manned up and showed what they were all about, and they would have made Winston Churchill proud, I believe. Yeah. And now they get to play Norway, and Norway, all of a sudden, this guy Erling Haaland, unbelievable. This guy, he's everywhere the ball is, and he's put himself in the position to win the Golden Boot, and that's going to be another incredible game this Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm not an educated soccer fan. As much as I tried to get Chris and Les Logan to watch, you know him, he's not having none of it. But that's okay. You know, one of these days maybe he'll come around. But he's not the hockey either. So, but that's all I got, JT.
All right, Big D. Good to hear from you. Keep fighting, my brother. Big D. Great call. Great friend. Black hole up there. We appreciate that. Look, you don't have to be a big soccer fan to be included in this conversation. That's what I've been preaching for over a month. This is the best bandwagon, really the only bandwagon that I would support. You know, a couple of trolls have said, I jumped on the Golden Knights bandwagon. How dare you? I was there day one. They were an inaugural expansion team. I cut the cord with my team. To be a Golden Knights fan. I'm not on the bandwagon. I've been there for day one. A bandwagon fan is a fan who has no interest in a team or a sport. Then he jumps in. This is a good time to be a bandwagon fan for U.S. soccer or U.S. hockey in the Olympics. That's when we want you to jump on the bandwagon because it's fun. And we're always encouraging people to have a really good time. And this is probably the best time you can have in Vegas this summer for sports. I mean, Derek Stevens is throwing watch parties at Stadium Swim. There's other pool parties in town that are iconic. Omnia launched their new pool. I mean, everybody's there, you know, booking tables for $2,000 and $4,000 in bottle service to watch a soccer game because they know it's a good time and people want to be around people who have fun. How about a beer bracket? No, I got a beer sponsor. I got to be careful about that. All right. If I had a beer bracket contest, Modelo would win, and everyone would be mad at me that don't drink Modelo. And most people drink Modelo. That opens up a line for you, 702-365-9200. Amin Elhassan from NBA Radio scheduled to join me next hour on NBA free agency. Looking forward to that. Why hasn't LeBron signed? Oh, Warrior fans. Where are the Warrior fans? Where's Cisco and the crew? Oh, you Warrior fans are now watching LeBron make you wait. Like you're at an Akron high school dance and you're waiting for the king to show up. Now the Warrior fans got to beg LeBron to come because the Lakers loaded up. The Clippers are loading up. The Spurs are better than the Warriors. OKC is much better than the Warriors. And now everybody at Golden State saying, everyone's gone. Jaylen Brown's gone. Kawhi's gone. Oh, we got to get LeBron now. And LeBron's hanging out, hitting golf balls and hanging out at dance clubs and partying going, yeah, tell the Warriors we'll give them a call in a couple of days. Ooh, man, watching the Warriors sweat this one is going to be a fun one. Let's keep it going. Carlito's Way is kind enough to join us. Ari, is Carlito there? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Happy 4th of July. Hopefully you guys had a great, happy 4th of July. Happy 20th, Happy 250th year. Me and my girlfriend, we went to to this theme park called Great America. They had a really nice fireworks show. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go in because due to capacity, it was really, really packed, jam. So we were able to watch it from the bridge, but we were able to enjoy a couple Modelos, look at the fireworks, meet some nice people, talk about the USA game. And moving on to the Mexico game, JT, we had it yesterday. I don't even know how many Modelos I had last night because I was just plain sad. Wasn't really crying. I got those Mexican sad music going on, but it is what it is. So, I mean, the next 4 years, hopefully, we can have the same people and, have a great motivation. And I know we can move on. I know we could do it. I know we could have done it last night, but England was the more favorite team that I
Yeah, England was the better team. Thanks, Carlito. They have better players. They're two best players. And Mexico's like the United States are getting better. They're putting players into the Premier League. They're putting players into the international feeding system of the better clubs around the world. But, I'm not the most educated fan of Mexico soccer, but they put up this graphic of how many games they won at Azteca. They play nobody. They don't play the powers of the world. So if they played the powers of the world at Azteca, and they played a few, but if they played them consistently, they wouldn't have that record. So they have good players, but they don't have elite players. Mexico had a one-man advantage, and they didn't have a striker, anyone. They had a 17-year-old kid. They had no one there that put the fear into England. None. No one in England said, oh, my God, we got to double team this Mbappe guy or Holland guy. Well, we got a double team. Where's the Messi player on this team? They don't have a player like that in Mexico. Their most famous player in the last 6 cups is their goalie. I mean, they've had good players in Mexico, but they don't have the players of Germany and Brazil and France. So when everybody was like the altitude, these are the best athletes in the world. They train. Harry Kane trains year-round. They all train. But the altitude is tough. But it didn't help Mexico. They didn't look that good to me. They had a flurry at the end of the first. They had a flurry in the end of the first half where they looked good. Brian from London, Ontario. Thank you, Brian. What's happening?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, JT?
Good. Who do you got tonight? United States or Belgium?
Well, I am going to pick the United States. I think the United States are a young team, but their coach has them believing that they can go as far as they think they can go, and they have been proving it. They have been constantly the faster team. They get to the ball quicker, and when they get the chance, they put the ball in the net. And I think that's going to be the difference with Belgium. I think if Belgium thinks that they have more experience and starts out slow, they could get behind the ball very quickly, and I don't think they have enough firepower to catch up. So I think I'm going to pick the United States today. As far as the red card incident, I did not think it was a red card. I thought it was a yellow, and I think that they should have changed it from a red to a yellow instead of just removing the red. And I think that the yellow should stand, and he should be able to play tonight, but he should be playing with a yellow card.
Yeah. Do you believe that our White House was the reason the red card was suspended?
No, I think FIFA is one of the bodies in sports that has always been a little bit off the wall. I would not say I've been a soccer fan for a long time, and I've always thought that they've done a lot of shady things.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, pretty
they've had
shady.
A lot of corruption.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of things go on. They're also the group that made a peace prize to give to the president. Right? Yeah. For some reason, why they did that off the wall. It's one of these things. They just do things for, I guess, the fun of doing them.
Yeah.
But I just think that FIFA is the problem here. I think it's been a great tournament. I think, as you noticed here, if anybody's a soccer fan, when Germany and the Netherlands and these guys that are powerhouses that everybody picked to win, you're starting to realize that smaller countries and even bigger countries like Canada and the United States, I'm a Canadian, we are getting better. We're picking up the game. And these teams that were the powerhouses are no longer the powerhouses. Look at Brazil. Everybody was looking at Brazil thinking they were going to go well, and they had never beat Norway. Never lost to Norway, and Norway comes out and beats them. Right? The smaller countries are getting better.
Yeah, they are. How you listening to the show in London, Ontario? How you hearing us?
Well, I have an app on my radio. I put in KRLV 920, and I just pull it up on the internet.
Good.
And I listen to you at work all the time, you and Q. Listen to you guys all the time.
Appreciate that very much.
Being a Raider fan after a loss, sometimes I put it on because I know I'm feeling bad, but listening to some of the fans that we have called in, I know they're doing worse. And I've always thought, you know what, it's just a game, win, lose, or draw. Okay. We're Raider. We're Raider Nation. We're not whining Raider Nation. We stand proud, win, lose, or draw. This is our team, and we will always be Raider fans, and that's as simple as it is. And if you can't take it, go become a Bronco fan. Go become a donkey.
Okay, thank you, my friend. Keep calling in from London, Ontario. Nice to take a phone call like that. That made my day. He has to make effort to find us. He has a machine where he puts in our station, and he gets the show, and he listens. It's all you can ask for in my business doing this, is the people to listen however they can listen. It used to be you had to listen to the radio station. That ship has sailed. You do not have to listen to the radio station. We're thrilled that you do, because we have partners, and that's my number one priority. How many people listen to the radio station? But we're giving you multiple devices, and the biggest one is the Raiders mobile app, where you can download the Raiders app and click on the radio in the corner and hear us everywhere. But, man, we do a good job in this building. My buddy Maury Brown, who writes for Forbes, put out a nice tweet about what happened with this red card suspended. It's very quick. He says, there's a few things about this. Number one, for the United States, it creates bulletin board material for every other team playing the United States from here on out, especially Belgium. Number two, the U.S. men's were shaping up to be a great feel-good story, and now through no fault of their own, the world views us as villains. Number three, and as a general business lesson, you take your wins and don't gloat about it. This isn't helpful at all and will amplify the already strong narrative that FIFA is corrupt. That is a great tweet. So we went from being the United States as the home underdog in the World Cup to now being despised around the world because we were able to remove a red card through political influence. That I have no problem with. I have no problem with people making phone calls. If the president of the United States, the president of Fox, the president of some soccer club in Detroit wants to get through to someone and say, can you reconsider this? I'm good with that. But if they didn't rescind the red card, I wouldn't have lost a second of sleep. Wouldn't have lost a second of sleep. We're brought to you by Modelo. Modelo. The fighting spirit of Modelo. I had a bucket of Modelos on the 4th of July. It was great. They were ice cold, dripping wet. Tasted great compared to some other beers. Wink, wink. Modelo, proud partner of our show. Amin, Elhassan next hour, and more of our World Cup rants. And what do you think of this new Raiders projected roster that's trending on ESPN?
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
I don't think there is a timeline. It's not holding up as much business as in prior years. Yes, Cleveland would like to sign James Harden, and I think Denver would like to have some clarity with Peyton Watson and certainly Draymond Green in Golden State, who's free agent. All those guys. The Watson situation is a little bit up in the air, but all those guys will be back and everything. And Miami's holding on to roster spots. I think it's a matter of just kind of having a sense whether it be midweek or the end of the week. I would be stunned if it lingered past the weekend and everything like that. But LeBron's on his own timeline, and when he makes the decision, we'll be all ready to go.
Yes, there's another. LeBron will make his decision when he makes his decision. JT back with you from Vegas. Amin Elhassan will join us later on. We'll talk to him about NBA free agency. There is breaking news today. The Kings are waiving DeMar DeRozan. Shams Charania reporting that, a 6-time All-Star. He's a great player. He's fantastic. Anybody put him on his team, that team's a lot better. That's a big name. He had a partial guarantee on his contract for next season, but he and Sacramento worked out his release on Monday to allow him to find a new home. Now, they drafted Darius Acuff, number 7 overall. I thought that was one of the best draft picks in the draft that he felt to Sacramento. DeRozan was a cap casualty for the rebuilding Kings that need to trim money. Only $10 million of his $25.7 million for next season was guaranteed. He turns 37 in August, continued as one of the most reliable scorers in the league. In his 17th season, he averaged 18.4 points on nearly 50% shooting. And he appeared in all but 5 games, a trend that he's always available. I like that a lot. He fits anywhere. So for anybody to say, was he a good fit for the Lakers? Absolutely. Is he a good fit for the Warriors? Yeah. Perfect fit for anybody. DeMar DeRozan is a hybrid. You can put him on any team, and he could be the leading scorer, the second scorer. Imagine if he's your third option. I would think Boston would be a really good fit now for him to go to Boston on a discounted deal now that Jaylen Brown is out in Boston. And the LeBron stuff, which I'll dive into a little bit more next hour, when you're that popular and you're that famous, you can do what you want to do. If you can make people wait another month, they'll wait another month. Taylor Swift could have had her wedding anywhere. She had it at Madison Square Garden. She could have had it anywhere in the world. She decided to do it there because she's powerful. She makes decisions in her timeline. No one was allowed to take a picture. Police officers inside had to shut their phones off. That's power. LeBron James has got power. He's going to tell the teams when he's ready to go, and we're going to sit around and watch. It shouldn't be the summer of LeBron. It shouldn't be, because this LeBron thing needs to settle down quickly so teams can move on, and that would be the Warriors or Cleveland. But we're here on a Monday, and I'm doing radio Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on SiriusXM, and all I'm doing is pounding the phones on LeBron in the summer. Why not? Because it's the biggest story out there in sports other than the World Cup. We'll reset at the top of the hour. I'll go over this Raiders roster as projected from ESPN next. Yeah, we're back. Hour number 2 coming off the 4th of July. Hope you had a great holiday with your family and friends. We got a break here in Vegas, man. The weather was great. We weren't in the heat dome that they had back east. People back east had it really bad, man. 103 degrees. I was talking to my dad, who's in New Paltz, New York, and it was 100 degrees and big-time humidity. It's only 99 degrees in Vegas right now, and that usually feels like we're in the 80s. When we get to the 110s, that's when it feels like 110. But this week, by Wednesday, 107, 108, 107, we're going to get hot. We're going to get hot here near the middle and end of the week. But it's been nice, and I hope you enjoyed the 4th of July. There's always some crazy fireworks stories going on. I watch the news, the local news here. There's a lot of crazy fires and what happened with a lot of firework damage. And I always want to thank the firemen and the firewomen and the emergency service workers and the police who have to work till the middle of the night to put out fires or to stop some of these illegal fireworks and the chaos that they do. The legal fireworks are great. I'm sure you shot off a few ones and had a good time, but nice to get through the 4th of July. The fireworks around the country look spectacular. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We are brought to you by the 872 Laborers, led by Tommy White, building the city on time and on budget. The rest of July, it's pretty basic. I was going over the calendar today. We got a couple of weeks of radio, a couple of little weeks, a couple of Fridays I'm going to take off, and then camp starts. And when camp starts, camp's going to be pretty intense. It's a new training camp. We got to learn everybody. We got to learn the coaches, got to learn the scheme, got to learn the depth chart. I'll be able to call the games. I'll be doing the play-by-play for the preseason games this year, as I've done. I think this is my 4th year of doing that with Matt Millen and the great Eric Allen, as Jason Horowitz goes from radio over to TV, and I slide into his seat. I enjoy that. And then we'll get into the preseason and the storylines that are going to come. And the biggest storyline is Mendoza. Can he beat out Kirk Cousins at camp? He should be able to try. I'm not saying he's going to. I doubt he can. I think Cousins is going to be just a wizard with this playbook. I think Cousins is going to get the playbook and own it. He already does. Knows it backwards. You can blindfold him and go, what's on page 62? He could say it before Fernando has to open up the binder and look at it. It's going to be hard for Kirk Cousins to screw this up. This is going to be his team in camp, paid to start and start the season, unless he screws it up. And it would have to be him screwing it up. Because even if Fernando plays well, if he plays well, all Cousins has to do is play well and not screw it up, and he'll be the starter. And then we're going to see what happens. If Cousins comes out and wins instantly, which is what he's used to doing, and that's his level is he wins a lot of regular season games. Kirk Cousins doesn't have a big history of winning big playoff games. He doesn't. He's won a few, but not a lot. So he's going to be completely prepared for week 1 at home against Miami. He'll have no problem going into SoFi in L.A. to play Herbert in week 2 because he's done that before. He'll be okay. And then he'll have to go to New Orleans. And to play New Orleans, he should be able to beat New Orleans. If Kirk Cousins can find a way to beat 2 of his first 3 opponents, he's going to be the quarterback for a month or 2. And everything will calm down. If Kirk Cousins doesn't win 2 of the first 3 games and goes 1-2, put Fernando in. At that point, if he can't beat Miami and New Orleans and/or the Chargers, then we go to our guy, our franchise quarterback. But they're going to want to bring him along at his own pace. That's Tom Brady, John Spytek, and Clint Kubiak. So on ESPN, they came out, 3 guys put together a column on every roster in the NFL, the projected starters. So the Raiders came in at 27 out of 32. I expected that. I didn't think that was, 24 or 25 I think would have been fair. But when they came in with the Raiders at that, I went through it and I looked at what they had for the Raiders, and most of it made sense. They're concerned about the offensive line for the Raiders, but know it's been improved because of Tyler Linderbaum. They're concerned about the wide receiver room because it doesn't have a big star name that jumps out like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. You got Jalen Naylor, Jack Besh, and Trey Tucker. That isn't great. It's not. You might be fans of them. You might be Raider fans and have a Trey Tucker trading card or a Jack Besh jersey. That's great. Rest of the league don't give a crap. That doesn't scare anybody yet. But everybody's concerned about if they're going to match up with the best tight end in football, arguably on paper, in Brock Bowers. And if Michael Mayer gets going, Ari, I gave the number early in the show that I think the floor, there's a ceiling and a floor. The floor for Bowers, if he's healthy, is 100 receptions. Well, if you can take Bowers and pencil in 100 and then pencil in 45 for Michael Mayer, that's 145 from the tight end. And then you can start getting a Naylor and all these other guys. But do you think, Ari, that Michael Mayer can go and jump in there and get you 45 to 50 receptions? Because that's why he was drafted here. He was pretty good in college.
Right. I do. Or, my answer would be, can he do great with those, right? I don't know if he'll get up that high, but I think he would make some good output from that, some good performance, and the yards after catch is a big deal with him. So, I'm on board with that. I'm interested to see, and like you said, in light of kind of not having that strong wide receiver core, if they'll really move that way.
Well, listen to this. This might sound shocking to you if you look at Michael Mayer's career. He's played 3 full seasons, and he doesn't have a combined 800 yards receiving. Wow. In 3 seasons. But he doesn't even have 1,000 yards.
How many games total?
He played a total of 38 games. 38 games, he has 83 receptions. In his rookie year, he played 14. He had 27 receptions. 2024, he played 11 games, had only 21 receptions. And last year, he played 13 games and had 35. So last year, he had 35. That's what I call the benchmark for him, 35. Need 15 more to get him to 50. That's not hard with Clint Kubiak.
I agree.
Yeah, so if you can get 150 from those 2 guys, I think it'll be pretty good. The rest of that column, as it turns out, as they're ranking the rosters here, I was surprised they had Jordan Meredith at left guard. Better than having Jordan Meredith at center. We have Tyler Linderbaum now. We don't have to worry about Jordan Meredith playing center. But is he good enough to start at left guard over, say, Caleb Rogers? And on the defensive side, the cornerback, ESPN projected Darian Porter being a starter. I don't know how. I don't know how anybody could project him to be a starter unless we see him here in the preseason and he makes some plays. I love the fact that Traden Stukes is the starting safety with Jeremy Chin. That means that this team at ESPN looked at the numbers and thought that was a good fit for him. No other surprises. I mean, there's really no other surprises. I think they'd like to see ESPN, and who cares what they think, but they're putting out the content for me today. They'd like to see a little bit better than Adam Butler, Jonah Laulu, and Thomas Booker in the interior. As the great Raider Mort used to say, those are just guys. Well, I don't I won't say that disrespectfully. They're not Pro Bowlers, because if they are, next to their name, there's an asterisk that says Pro Bowl. They're not all NFL, so they're not Pro Bowlers. If you're not a Pro Bowler in this league, if you haven't been to the Pro Bowl or competing, you're a guy. There's guys like you all around the league. The Raiders got to decide who's going to make the Pro Bowl. I think the Pro Bowlers on this team are Tyler Linderbaum, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty. Seriously, he can be a Pro Bowler. He can have a jump year overall. I don't see an offensive lineman other than Colt Miller, who has not been a Pro Bowler, but plays at a Pro Bowl level. And then on the defensive side, your Pro Bowlers are Max Crosby, Kwity Paye could be, Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker, one of them could have that breakout year. And that's it. I don't see a lot of other guys there that are Pro Bowl caliber players. All right, let's switch it up and get to the NBA. And Amin Elhassan is one of the best NBA insiders that I've been interviewing for a long time, especially when I came to the SiriusXM family. He's great. He's on SiriusXM NBA radio. And, I mean, before you came on here, we were discussing LeBron James. And that's why I wanted to have you on today. If we look at all the great free agents that took their time, they're either divas or not. Some of them are not. Some of them just waited out. But we know LeBron James. Can you tell me today, coming off the 4th of July, why we don't have a decision on where LeBron James is going to play?
Oh, JT, you said it yourself. We know these people. I was doing NBA Insiders this morning with Jason Jackson, and he asked the same question. I said, is this your first LeBron free agency? This is what he does. He wants all the attention. He wants the pomp and circumstance going along with it. And the thing that makes it different this year is that Rich is not just his agent. Rich is also a content creator. He's got that podcast that he does with Max Kellerman, Game Over. It's a great podcast, and it's a great listen, not only for kind of the entertainment, but the information and kind of an insight to how Rich Paul sees the world and sees specifically the business of basketball. Up until LeBron James is involved, and now it is kind of secondary to whatever the business angle is for LeBron Inc. And so I have no doubt that they know fully well where he's going to go, but they're just milking this thing out because you want the podcast to get some extra downloads, because LeBron wants the maximum amount of attention. He does not want to share his news breaking with, a massive World Cup match.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. That is really a good point. But you know the clues that are here. So the biggest clue was Draymond opting out for the opportunity for Rich Paul to get him with Joe Lacob and Steph, who we played internationally with at the Olympics. But what gained my attention over the last couple of days was this Jaylen Brown to the Sixers. And wow, with Maxey and if Embiid ever stays healthy, and LeBron wanted to play 22 to 24 minutes a night, that would be a good fit. And I've always thought, that it was going to be Cleveland, especially with the documentary and the content, ended all where it started. So why don't you handicap a couple of these cities, in your opinion, on where he could end up?
Well, I'll throw another one in for you that has not quite the symmetry of Cleveland, but a little bit of symmetry in Miami. And the Miami Heat are a team where there's both great promise and opportunity because of the arrival of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Well, at the same time, great opportunity for LeBron to actually be a meaningful part. To me, Philadelphia makes the least sense because it's crowded, right? If all those guys are healthy, and I know that's a big if in Philadelphia, but if all those guys are healthy, where does LeBron fit in? We saw him kind of reluctantly accept being that third guy in L.A. last season, and it really didn't come around until March until we kind of figured out what that looks like. But when you start talking about maybe the fourth guy in Philadelphia, it's a new city, and obviously the Jaylen Brown acquisition, there's a lot of eyeballs there. I don't know how much goodwill LeBron gets out of that. Cleveland is the obvious one, right? Go back to where you started, and the team, again, seems to be at a hump. They try to win one without you, and they really couldn't. So if you come back, you are the glorious benefactor. You say, here, I got you guys a championship. I know you needed one, and I came here to save the day. Golden State is interesting because if you think about LeBron's career, who's been his biggest rival? I know some people say Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant is almost from a different era a different age. In the modern era, Steph Curry has been his biggest adversary. And so you sit there and you say, well, you've got 4, and I've got 4, and things haven't gone well for you lately. Just, Steph Curry, they were under 500 last year. They were a 10 seed. This is unbecoming of Steph Curry if he wants to win another championship. And LeBron has been kind of on the outside looking in Los Angeles. So it's like, why don't we win our 5th together, right? We know they like playing with one another. We know they like playing for Coach Kerr. We know, obviously, the Draymond connection. The Anthony Davis portion of that is where it gets far-fetched because it requires Washington to play ball, and I don't think they want to. So, if I had to sum it all up, I think I would go number 1, Cleveland, number 2, Miami, number 3, Golden State, and then a distant 4th is Philly.
Amin Elhassan, NBA Radio. It's business season in the NBA. SiriusXM NBA Radio has you covered. LeBron is leaving the Lakers. He will play elsewhere next season as free agency continues to reshape the league. 24/7, your home for hoops, SiriusXM, NBA Radio, channel 86 in your car and on the SiriusXM app. Okay, here's another one. LeBron James has never proven to us that he'll play for less. Never happened. Came from high school. He's been a top-tier athlete. He's a billionaire. So if Steph's going to make $62 million fully guaranteed, are you telling me LeBron would play for under $10 million or a little bit more for that, knowing that Steph, every time they go to a restaurant, is sitting across from him making $62 million a year? Could he do that?
Well, I go the opposite with you, JT. He's never said that he'd take less up until now. This is the first time he's ever come out and said the money is irrelevant. I'll play for minimum if the situation is right. These are his words or his words through Rich Paul that we haven't seen this approach before. The last time he took anything close to a pay cut, I want to say was when he got signed and traded from Cleveland to Miami, and they did that so that they could get Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller some money too. That's why him, Wade, and Bosh all took a hair less, not that much less, but a hair less than they were eligible for. But other than that, the guy kind of just gets market rate every single time and has never indicated even a willingness or desire to do otherwise until now. And so given that he opened that door, that's why we're here. If he hadn't opened that door, Golden State would not be in the mix. Cleveland certainly would not be in the mix. And Miami with a hard cap would not be in the mix, and neither would Philadelphia. He understood, I think. He looked around and said, anywhere that can pay me is so far away from where I want to be, both geographically and also in the lifespan of a championship, that I cannot have this hard and fast rule anymore.
Wanted to ask you about the Celtics because Bill Russell played with John Havlicek during one of the worst times in American history for racial tension, as you know what Bill Russell went through. And those guys got along, and they made pennies compared to Jaylen Brown and Tatum. And now you're telling me Jaylen Brown and Tatum just couldn't be left alone to make $50+ million each and go after a few more chips with the Celtics. What are you hearing through your sources about what happened to a very cerebral and smart Jaylen Brown and how that soured in Boston?
So I got a couple of people. I will name my sources right here. Number one, I talked to Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe. Does a tremendous job not only covering the Celtics, covering the NBA as a whole. Long-time reporter there in Boston. Really plugged in. He said, this is what I know about Jaylen Brown. He's never been shy or coy about telling you how he feels. You may not like how he expresses it. He's doing it in a live stream with some weird guys and wraparound sunglasses standing behind him. The methodology we may not agree with. But the motive and the directive is always the same. He is very upfront. So for Jaylen Brown to be so upset that he can't be here anymore, without Jaylen Brown ever saying, I'm so upset I can't be here anymore, trade me, those two things do not jive, right? Those two things do not jive. So what's more likely is the Celtics, whether it's the front office or ownership or whoever, are feeling awkward about the situation. They did try to trade him for Giannis. It failed. And now they're worried about what's happening, right? That's one prevailing theory, that they're worried about what could happen. I talked to Tony Allen. I said, Tony, you were part of a team that brought in two superstars to a team that had already had one in Paul Pierce and had another one kind of in the wings in Rajon Rondo. how did they make it work for you guys? And Tony said, they didn't do anything. We did it in the locker room. Pickett walked in, Kevin Garnett walked in and declared, hey, Paul's going to be the guy. And Ray said, yeah, Paul's the guy. And that was that. They could have fought. They could have argued. Pickett was a couple of years removed from being MVP of the league. Ray Allen, obviously, also been on 50-plus win teams in Seattle. Paul was the best player on the team that lost 18 games in a row. So there clearly could have been an argument. Oh, why are we giving it to Paul? But those guys settled it. So by the time Danny Ainge was back into that locker room, it was already taken care of. Is that happening in Boston's locker room right now? You got to tell me who that guy is and how he's mended the fences between Jaylen Brown and anyone else, because I don't believe that's happened. The other, and perhaps way more likely scenario is Jaylen Brown's up for an extension. There's new ownership. They don't want to spend the money. That's it. And when I look at Brad Stevens, a guy I really respect, his basketball acumen, and I look at that front office, Mike Zarin, Dave Lewin, those are all really bright guys who have been at it for a long time. Screwed front office people. For them to do that deal, someone asked me, what would compel them to just take pennies on a dollar like that? I said, I know what would compel them. It's someone who's upstairs who's saying, get it done, get it done, get it done. I know because I've lived it. I've worked for a front office who had an owner who was just on our heads at all times about getting the salary down. And at some point, it's his team. You got to do what the guy wants.
Amin, Elhassan, as we wrap it up, what can you tell our Laker audience about their new big three? And does anything concern you about the temperament of Luka Doncic over the next year or two? Because they're saying they got to give Luka this, they got to give Luka that. It's his team. Well, Dallas saw something to move on from Luka. Okay, you could debate that all day, right or wrong. How many more years is Luka going to be happy with this group in LA if he can't get by OKC and the Spurs?
Right. So what I would say is, I don't think, much like Boston, I think we can all understand, I had to trade the guy. All right, that's fine. You have to trade the guy for that. That's what's always going to follow Nico Harrison around, and it'll probably follow Brad Stevens around. You have to trade him, but you have to trade him for that. But, all right, that's aside. That's old history in the case of Luka Doncic. Now, Luka, the deck has been cleared. There's no LeBron. There's no Clutch kind of pulling strings behind the scenes, or as was kind of intimated or whatever, insinuated. So now it's your team. It's built in your image. You wanted a big that could protect the rim and finish and catch lobs. They got you Walker Kessler. You wanted shooting. They got you shooting. You got everything. So now the burden falls back on him. And his happiness is under his control. His ability to show up in shape and stay in shape, to stay disciplined. We all love to make fun of Zion Williamson for not being able to stay disciplined with regard to his body. Luka Doncic has the same problem, maybe not to Zion's extent, but he still has the same problem. So he's got to show, hey, I'm going to give up all those fun things I like to do because they get in the way of me being the best possible player. And then the last part of it is both him and Austin Reeves, they have to show renewed commitment on the defensive end. Is that going to be enough? I'll be honest with you, probably not. The Spurs and the Thunder are really good. Nikola Jokic still exists. Minnesota is going to be interesting and different. The Lakers have their work cut out for them. But the idea that it's somehow the team's fault or someone else's fault, I think those days have come to an end. It's now Luka's time to get the glory, but also get the blame.
I always appreciate our time together. I hope we connect during Summer League in my town, Vegas. I hope to see you here in the next couple of weeks.
I'll be there on Thursday, JP.
You got it. There he is. Amin Elhassan. Excellent host, excellent insider. We appreciate him today. And that's fantastic. He really dropped his sources. That's the type of interview I like to do. Fast. Let's get to the point. Let's get these answers. Let's get as many as we can. We got a lot there. And with everything happening with Draymond Green and everything happening with this whole scenario with LeBron James, NBA free agency becomes a massive topic again in the summer. Years ago, Steph fired up the jet and they went to find Durant in the Hamptons. I don't see Steph firing up the jet right now to go hunt down LeBron James. I don't see it. I think they're going to wait for him. But the interesting thing is LeBron James now has leverage after we just talked to Amin. He has leverage over the Warriors. Not for more money. I don't think there's a lot of money. Steph's getting $62 million. $62 million guaranteed. Steph ain't giving up money to bring in LeBron. Draymond did. Draymond opted out so they could work the numbers and massage it a bit. Steph isn't working any numbers. So a lot of people say LeBron will play for less. I'll believe it when I see it. For everybody says he's going to play for less, he's going to play for less. I'll believe it when I see it. No score between Portugal and Spain. We're in the 60th minute. This is big. You know the proximity from Portugal to Spain. That whole region of the world is watching this game. The whole country of Europe is watching this, but especially there, and this is a big one. Both of these teams, one has Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the greatest player, one of them of all time, and Spain is always a powerhouse team that can do something. All right, when we come back, I'll get over to soccer again. If you want to give us a soccer call on the game tonight, it's a pretty big topic. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, proud partner of our show. If you're looking for a World Cup tailgate, they're the best. They make that great sauce in store every day. Get multiple box combos. Get the fries. Get the coleslaw. Jugs of lemonade or iced tea. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, proud partner of our show.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
JT, as we continue back here on this Getting Warm Monday, brought to you by Flecha Azul Tequila, proud partner of our show, our newest partner. I brought a beautiful bottle on the 4th of July over to my buddy's house who hosted my wife and I and a bunch of couples, and I brought heaven to the party. Everybody was having either chilled shots. There was a pitcher of margaritas that were fantastic. People were asking about it. Fantastic. Smooth. 4th of July. Tasted great. Everybody was raving about it, and I'll be talking about them a lot because they're a big-time brand, and they are proud partners of ours on Raider Nation Radio. So as we continue this soccer conversation leading up to the game tonight, which I got, as I said earlier in the show, I got a big night in front of me because I got 4 hours of radio, and part of it's going to be while this game is on. And that's one of the only, I wouldn't call hard parts, but unique parts of my job when there's big events going on, like Game 6 of the World Series, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and I happen to be on the radio that night on SiriusXM. I know people are not listening because they're watching those big events. So I got to go swimming to the shore, and I'm dropped 2 miles out, and I got to get there to the end of the game. And I've been really describing this whole soccer story as an experiment to sports. And I'm doing something about it, and I'm journaling a little bit, and I'm saving some of the segments, and I'm going to do something with what this experiment is like for soccer here in America during World Cup of 2026, because I think there's something special going on. I could be wrong, but I think I'm going to be right on this. I think this is an experiment that is working, but it's taken too long for it to work. As I often say, our women are great in soccer, right? Our women have been decorated with World Cup championships, national championships. Our women have been great. When it comes to men's soccer, we're pretty bad. And historically, we've been laughable. We haven't been relevant at all until now. So with Flo Bogosian being able to play, Balogun being able to play, and everybody wondering how big of a story this is, it's part of this grand experiment of will soccer work in the United States long term? Why has it taken so long for us to get here, for people to have actually an interest in what's going on later tonight in Seattle? And I got a lot of opinions on it, and I think these opinions are well-versed because I've been on the radio for 30 years during World Cups, talking about World Cups, and not many people in the United States has had interest until now. The breaking story, did the president help rescind the red card? Yeah, he did. This is politics. The president's very connected with FIFA for a number of reasons. He made a phone call. I think that had everything to do with that red card being rescinded or correctly suspended as of now. And maybe things can change at the last second. I doubt it. So it's politics. People in our country are addicted to politics. Whenever you infuse politics into sports, which I don't do, until it's obvious, there's more ears. There's more people interested because more people either like that political side or hate it. So they're going to be engaged with it. And that brings this story to a higher level. Also, the fact that the United States seems to be pretty passionate and this team seems to be pretty good. I had them getting this far. I didn't know who they'd be playing, Belgium, but when we talked about the possibility of Belgium, I think they could beat Belgium, even though Belgium historically beats the United States because they've been a better soccer country for 100-plus years. That's fair, but I think that it's even now. And the home field advantage in Seattle is nowhere near, not 1/10 as important as the home field was for Mexico yesterday as at Texas Stadium, and they lost to England. So what did home field advantage mean? Mexico arguably has the biggest one in the world, unless you were playing that in, I don't know, Berlin, or you were playing it somewhere in Paris with this French team, and it didn't help Mexico much. So I don't give us a lot of credit for having some home field advantage in Seattle at Lumen Field, home of the Seahawks. We don't have a soccer cathedral in America. We don't have a place where people go worship at the altar of soccer here. We're never going to have a home field advantage anytime soon, maybe not in my lifetime. But this grand experiment has got people interested because of alcohol, and the internet. Let me repeat again, alcohol and the internet. The internet being social media. I can't open up my phone without the algorithm showing me some wild soccer party with 30,000 Norwegians rowing and chanting, or the Scots out drinking every bar in Boston under, or fans in Dallas showing up, or how about the Argentina fans in Miami? Over the weekend, they showed a drone view, an aerial view of South Beach, which I've been to many times, a couple of times for Raider games. And on South Beach, there was 40 to 50,000 people supporting Argentina. You don't get 1,000 to support the Miami Dolphins. You don't get 1,000. If the Dolphins are playing the Patriots or the Bills, you might have a couple thousand Bills fans, but not like Argentina. So part of this grand experiment I've been documenting and talking about on radio, the way I document stuff, that these European soccer fans and global fans are just better than us. Even the Japan fans who bring empty garbage bags to the games to clean up after the game are better than us. We don't do that. And these are our stadiums in America. We drop popcorn buckets and spill beer and throw cans on the ground and don't even pick them up. And the Japanese fans are walking from row to row, cleaning our stadiums here in the United States. So all of this comes down to tonight, Belgium and the United States. I hope the United States wins. I'm going to be excited if they do, and it gives us another couple of days to talk about soccer. But I think what's going to be interesting with this grand experiment is that when the United States loses and are ousted, and they don't go through, as they like to say in Europe, will this sport fall off a cliff? Will the ratings in the United States drop significantly? They shouldn't if Messi's still playing and Mbappe and Eric Haaland of Norway. Those are the best soccer players in the world. I think we should still be watching. But there'll be a lot of American soccer fans who disappear. And they'll be gone. We'll see them again in 4 more years. Don't tell me we're going to see them for the Copa or we're going to see them. We're not going to see them at all. And the MLS is a bleeping joke. It almost feels like you're stained if you watch the MLS because it's such an inferior product compared to La Liga and the Premier League and the Bundesliga and some of the leagues that play in Africa. Look at all these African nations that we have. The MLS is just famous for a place where old legendary soccer players go for one more paycheck. I know there's some passionate clubs in Seattle and Portland and LA, of course, but not enough to move the needle and make any type of difference. Until now, maybe this is the moment that U.S. soccer fans will be so into what happened at the World Cup, maybe a trip to the Final Four, the Elite Eight, I doubt it, but if they do, we'll be talking about a team that has galvanized this country. And then we'll be able to take what we learned from the World Cup, which is passion for our country. Don't be divisive. Be passionate for our colors. Support the country, even if you're pissed off about something politically. Get out of the house. Go to sports bars. Go to watch parties. Make new friends at the sports bar that have something in common with you. That's the good that's going to come out of this. And I hope it happens because I think we're a jaded society here in the United States when it comes to sports. We have rabid fans in all different sports and different fan bases. But we've been spoiled with our transportation, how we get in and out of stadiums, our suites, our tailgates, when we show up, when we leave early. We've been doing this a long time here with professional sports, and we learned that soccer globally is much bigger than all of our professional sports combined. So I look at this as a positive. I look at this as a moment in the United States that we can look back and say, yeah, I remember what happened in 2026. The summer of 2026, our country turned 250 years old. We had an amazing 4th of July that you'll never forget. The United States beat Belgium after a red card was suspended with a little help from the White House. People were anti-American overseas because of this red card situation. It galvanized our U.S. men's national team, and they won. And Seattle looks gorgeous and beautiful, and everybody's having a great time. Let's try to find out the positives here. But if you go back in the hot tub time machine, we don't do well with soccer. We're not very good at it. Once it's done, it drops off. Just like the Olympics, figure skating and the downhill slalom and skiing is gorgeous. It's incredible. The drama is amazing during the Olympics. Then the Olympics end, and you don't watch it for 4 years because no one follows the national women's ice skating team. No one follows our Olympic ski team and knows who's the top 3 seeds in the downhill. We forget about it. We've done that with men's soccer, and now I think it changes. But hopefully we got a couple of more games to talk about and an opportunity to build this momentum and keep it going here. We got a lot of partners here that are doing watch parties. I want to throw a shout out to Bel Air over in Durango. They have the games on in Bel Air. That's their lobby. Great lounge. Fantastic. We recommend that. We recommend the M. The M has a pretty good, vibrant soccer crowd there at the Raiders Tavern or throughout the property. They're doing a lot there. Boyd Gaming has 10 properties here in the Valley. 10. The local casino property of the Raiders. Watch parties everywhere. And maybe there's a place that you like to go to, a local tavern group. We have Flowing Tide, which is fantastic here, and a couple other ones. Just get out of the house. I'll be in the house doing a 4-hour radio show as this game's in progress, and hope the United States wins so people fire up the phone calls, get excited, and I have a little bit more to talk about because it's that time of year. You know, it's that time of year. I'm looking for Raiders news, which there isn't much. They're on vacation. Did any of them go to Taylor Swift's wedding? Right? You know every NFL player was on vacation because half of them got an invite to that wedding. Wasn't very exclusive, that Swiftie wedding. I got to be careful if my wife is listening. She's a Swiftie. Seemed like everybody got invited to that wedding, from McAfee to my buddy Stephen A. to fullbacks and tight ends. Didn't seem that exclusive to me, but that was a big deal at Madison Square Garden. I'd rather talk sports than a Kelsey Swift wedding. 702-365-9200 if you want to get in. Where are you watching this tonight? What are you cooking out? Give me the final score of the game. I asked that earlier because I'm looking for soccer fans who could be productive while the World Cup's going on. Right here as we talk Raiders also on Raider Nation Radio.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Yeah, I don't think it will change the officiating. These guys are the best, or most of them are the best in the world. So I think they'll go out and do their jobs. As a referee, as a match referee at that level, you delete all the outside noise. You can't afford to take any of that baggage into a game of football. So I think the actual officiating won't change. I mean, the noise around it, you know, it's big news today. If Balogun goes and scores the winner tomorrow, then you know you can imagine what the fallout of that's going to be after that. So I think that's going to be the most telling situation, and how FIFA are going to deal with that if Balogun goes on and scores tomorrow night and wins USA the game.
That is Andy Davis from ESPN Soccer. If Balogun scores for the United States tonight after his red card was rescinded or suspended, however you want to look at that, there will be global soccer chaos globally. So everybody around the world will despise the United States if Balogun scores because the president called and, used some of his power to rescind it. He did. He did. There's no doubt. You could love the president or detest him. I don't want to hear from you. I don't care. I'm saying that's what happened. He made a phone call and everything was cleaned up. Now, why did he make the phone call? I just think someone asked him to. Like half the things. You mind looking at this? Bitcoin? Want to look at FIFA? Want to make a call? You made a call. And the call worked out beneficial. Now, was it beneficial because we're hosting all these matches in our country and it's a multi-billion-dollar package from Fox in the United States and these stadiums and FIFA? Yeah, that probably had something to do with it. Got to win. If they don't win, and a lot of people are going to be pulling for Belgium tonight around the world, not here in America, but there are going to be people around the world that say, I don't mind the Americans. I don't mind them, but I can't believe they got that rescinded red card because the president called. I'm rooting against them tonight. That's what's happening around the world. Also, 85th minute, no score between Portugal and Spain. So by the time I get home and get out of here in about 10 minutes, it's going to be fun to watch the end of this game. Will Ronaldo, what will happen here? We'll see how this plays out. Roman from San Diego, who I don't think's ever called radio before. Hello, Roman.
JT, how you doing? Have you got me?
I got you loud and clear. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Come on, England!
Come on, England!
Let's go, baby!
Come on, England!
Are you not entertained? I said, are you not entertained? What a game yesterday! 3-2, the Azteca, hallowed ground. Before I get into it, much love to my Mexican hermana and hermanos. The fighting spirit, you put up a good fight, but yesterday was England's night. We went into the belly of the beast and gave the world an absolute showing. This is the beautiful game. This is the beautiful sport. 11 Englishmen went out there, put their hearts on the line. The Mexicans, they fought valiantly. It went 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 10 men down, 3-2. What more do you want from a game? We go on, we carry on, and I think, dare I say it, football is coming home, my friend. But what a game. This is the beautiful sport, and going on England.
Roman, say it with me. Harry Kane, he's one of our own. One of our own. He's one of our own.
Harry Kane, he's one of our own. It's coming home. Listen, and not only that, the beautiful sport at the end of the game, you see all the English players going out to the away end, all the Brits that flew out there to watch it, putting their hearts on the sleeve. The Mexican fans, there's clips circling around there, giving it to us. We gave it back, all in good banter. I love you all. It's a beautiful game. We've been there, believe me. No discredit to the Mexicans. Don't worry that it happened. Just be happy that you were there. We've had our heart broken a million times. I've been on the other end of that. But what an absolute beautiful night. As far as the game tonight for USA and Belgium, listen, Belgium on paper, they've got it all going for them, but it don't mean nothing. Because we got the underdogs. They'll put it on the line of like what US have done. They play with energy, they play with heart, they play with spirit. Put it on the line, and we'll see how we're looking tomorrow. All right?
You're the best. Come on, England! Come on, England!
That's right. I've been listening to you for years. I absolutely love you, baby. I want to see you. Come on, Raiders! Let's go! Love you, baby. Let's finish with some juice.
Oh, please send me that call, Ari, after the show. Please send me that call after the show so I can reposition that call later tonight on my SiriusXM show, Ari. So please send it to me. That was very nice. You know, how many Latino callers called me? How many Latino callers called me today and tipped their cap to England? That would be none. Or maybe one. Maybe one talked about how tough it was. But there's an England fan very proud that his three Lions went into Azteca and beat Mexico. And we'll see Mexico, and Mexico will come back to the next World Cup, and Mexico will lose in the round of 16 4 years from now. That's what they do. I don't know how they're going to be better. I don't know how we're going to be better. We usually don't get to the round of 16. But we're here. We can do it. So let's see what happens. Wow. Look at this. The possession has been heavy heavy for Portugal lately here, but Spain overall has the possession in the match. We're going to see how this plays out. So I really enjoyed this today, man. I hope everybody enjoyed talking some. We touched on the Raiders, looked at the Raiders roster a bit. I'll have a little bit of Raider content the rest of the week. I'm giving our Raider guests some time off before we ask them to be pretty regular once August comes around. So July, with the NBA news, what's happening here, we'll be doing shows from NBA Summer League. So we're excited about that. I guess I'll be doing a couple of shows from there. Always like it. I was the first ever Vegas host to do a show from Summer League. And that's a badge of honor for me because I really believe what Summer League does to this town and how they increase. I just think they increase revenue. More people come here that wouldn't come here in the heat of the summer for NBA Summer League. So it's good for business. It's good for our town. Provides us with some content, which we're excited about. So NBA Summer League will have updates. Oh, another big housekeeping moment here. July, let me get the exact date. The Friday coming up in July, I believe that is going to be July 31st. We're going to do a show from Grimaldi's over in deep Henderson. And it's going to be a Raiders training camp kickoff pizza party, which we'll be pretty excited about there. I'm supposed to have 2 alumni on this week. Spain just scored. Spain just scored in the 90th minute. Unbelievable. Spain just scored. Ronaldo can't believe it. This will be the last of Ronaldo, his last ever performance in the World Cup, and he'll go out to Spain. Are they going to call it? No, what are they calling here? No, they started early. They were waiting for a call. Was it offsides? It doesn't look like it was. No, looks clean. Spain, 1-0. Stoppage time. They'll add a couple more minutes. So Spain will have a few more. Portugal will have a few more minutes here. This is at Jerry's World in Dallas, where I've been to many times. What a way to go out. If Spain's able to win this way, it will be a death blow. Death blow to Portugal. Spain 1-0. Ronaldo can't believe it. He knows his career at the World Cup will end in a matter of 4 to 5 minutes here, depending on how much time it is in stoppage time. Ari, thank you again. Q's back. Saw Q today. He's excited. He's back from his trip. He'll have big shows lined up for all of you. And we'll continue with everything we're doing here, getting everybody excited for the summer. And we're excited about the shows we got coming up. 2 Raider alumni, hopefully this week, on their signature moment in Raider history. We've already had Rod Woodson, Phil Villapiano, and they're lining up to join me throughout the summer. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks to all of our partners, our new partners, and especially our listeners. We'll see you back here tomorrow.